This is Drop Tent Media Network.
I almost hit a child on an electric scooter.
We've all done it.
Twice. The same child twice in 20 seconds.
First time was an accident, second time you meant it.
The second one. I was parked.
Yeah, you're just moving like I'm not.
And I was like, oh, you're going to fuck with me now, kid?
Around the car.
Yeah.
Like,
Skidded out like right behind my
hey,
bumper.
mister. Hey, mister, what you doing?
I mean, I didn't, do you know what I mean? Go like on a racist tirade or whatever, like on the air. Thank God.
You came in hot, like this fucking kid on a scooter.
Stop.
What?
Because
Yeah,
he
what?
was. I was mad because he was an inconsiderate child.
Fucking writer over here. I'm like, dude,
Oh
easy. On this podcast, much like our government, we just let it slide.
Also, he was of Latin descent. Not that it matters, but I have to prove this guy wrong. I almost hit a child.
You would have probably been deported anyway. You Hi, hello, welcome. Call the bus. Neil Wood.
By the renewing of your mind.
Call the bus.
The recycling. It's a flesh body world.
You're gonna love it, and we might try to recruit you.
Human.
Comedian out of Philadelphia.
Reptilian.
Okay, so listen, I know you're mad.
I'm not mad.
Don't be mad.
I'm just.
This is Joshua Ryan, Matt. Everybody, this is my guest, Joshua
Hello.
Ryan. Oh, he looked at my camera. Your camera's right there.
Hi.
Baby. This is my guest, Joshua Ryan. He's in the studio. What just happened, and Josh is about to, please eviscerate me, is we had a very good conversation. What's up? Oh, yeah, you need the little thing. We had a very good conversation. And we, so many spanned topics, right?
Tell him the whole thing.
We spanned topics across it. I started the recording, right?
No. We had a wonderful conversation upstairs. And then you brought me down to your sex dungeon.
Yes.
To have another wonderful conversation, which we did.
Of course.
And you recorded none of it. And now I'm not going to make it to bingo on time.
In my defense,
son of a bitch.
In my defense, I've been trying to get you to stop going to bingo because those ladies put in complaints against you. I've told you that.
Don't
you can't
shit
go.
on Gladys, that angel.
I know. Gladys is nice. It's everybody else because they say you keep talking shit and they're all really upset and they're old and they have high blood pressure. So
join the fucking club, Gladys, you know?
I know the difference here is I think they're like 40 years your senior.
Well, I should also stop stealing all of their blood pressure medication.
No, keep doing that because I need that. If I can't buy that, we're going to be in trouble.
All right, I'm on your Wi-Fi. This motherfucker, I love this guy. He's one of my oldest friends in stand-up comedy. This guy's got a QR code you have to scan. His Wi-Fi password is two-factor authorization. I mean, it's just a nightmare. All the special characters. There's a QR code for a payment link.
There's that.
And he said, why don't I just text you the thing?
Yep. I had to text him the passcode. People don't like the Google passwords. I get it. I understand it.
What's wrong with so wait, how does that work?
It's basically just like, Google generates passwords automatically because I have they'll do it for anything if you have a Google account of any kind. So it'll generate a password.
That's true, because you have some nefarious fellows down here and you don't want to give out your Wi-Fi password.
I genuinely, you know what? It's one of those things where I didn't even think about it when I set it up. And now that I have to give it to people when they talk, I realize that I definitely should change it. I definitely should make it something much easier.
But I don't know.
You know
Drop
what?
Tent Media.
You know what? Today,
exclamation one.
For you,
don't change it now. I finally got on your fucking Wi-Fi.
No, it's already changed. I just changed it. No, you're never going to find it.
How much more money do I have to send you to send a fucking text?
It depends if you want to leave here. I love that. Yeah, I've had people down here with kids. They're mother or fathers in the hospital. They didn't need the Wi-Fi, but God forbid you need to check which Wendy's is nearby. You need to fucking do this shit where you gotta get on your phone and not be here with me.
I'm a Checkers guy.
Oh,
no!
Don't tell people that.
I don't. My cousin got food poisoning at Checkers, and it was so bad that I haven't eaten at Checkers in 20 years.
Yeah. All right, let's try to really. So I did fuck you over. I apologize.
No, you didn't fuck.
I didn't mean to. Yeah,
it's always good to talk to you.
There was a good conversation happening, and we're gonna keep going with one now. Josh Ryan is one of my favorite comics in the scene. Honestly, he's a good friend of mine. So thank you for being here, brother. And yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to try to recreate. I mean, we talked about a lot of football, a lot of stuff actually where I got to be honest, and it's not just you. I enjoyed that conversation thoroughly.
It was a nice one.
Most of the time, people hate when we talk about comedy, which is a bummer. Yeah. But like I said, it's fun.
Who is listening?
Roughly 3,000.
Not comedian. No, not how many. No. Who, like, what kind of
audience members?
People?
So a lot of times, they're coming to the thing that they just don't want to hear. We have comics. We talk about ourselves. We're very involved. We're narcissists. So we end up, more often doing a podcast for multiple years, comedy wise. If it's not that, if that's not the conceit of your show, like. I don't tell people like, hey, come and get a conversation about comedy here.
Yeah, okay.
Like, we usually just like, sure. So it's one of those things where we've gotten feedback of being like, hey guys, I'm not trying to be a comic. I don't care about being a comic. I would love to laugh.
Makes sense. Okay. So they want funny, but they don't want.
Well, yeah, some interesting. I feel like this, for me, this podcast is why I'm still doing it and like it, and would have Adam, he's out there. I mean, I'm hoping he wants to come back on and.
Very disappointed to find out Adam was not going to be here.
I know. Well, he hates that I'm, keeping the bodies down here. So it's, he felt morally it wasn't something I was supposed to be doing for my victims. But it's one of those things. But no, Adam's doing his little thing. We talk, we try to get, seeing if he wants to come back. But like we were always kind of playing with different concepts and trying to figure out what we were doing. And fun. But I like talking about, persuasion and like why we do the things we do. So like, we can tie, like, I like tying it into comedy in a way because we're a certain animal, but like doctors across the board. I'm always fascinated by social science. Like, genuinely, I'm a little bit of that. And it all ties into everything we do. Like, we do it every time we get on stage. We're like picking out mannerisms and like figuring out what a crowd is feeling and doing. So, like, we do this all the time. And I feel like all those little tiny things now are kind of blown up. And some of us are, as we talked about in the Lost episode, in the Lost tapes, it's like,
you buy the special edition.
You guys got to get into the Patreon.
On Cult of Us Plus, you can get.
How about that fucking shit?
It's gone forever.
It's gone forever. It's gone forever.
Arguably the greatest 38 minutes of my time on this earth.
Oh, that's good for you, not for me. But it's definitely one of those things where I want to know more about your thought process, and we hit on some of that stuff in there. So you would catching people up. You would have a cult, right? This is the whole thing. But like your rule number one. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me say.
I don't want a cult.
I asked, of course, Joshua, the question we always ask, which is like, if you had a cult, what 3 rules would you come up with? And you did say, and I think rightfully so, first one was like, they'd have to be Eagles fans, which I agree with. You're a passionate motherfucker. We talked about passion for a while there, like of just like different stuff. Like, are we... And I agree with your thing of like, we saw that sports is the place to be passionate at, to be a kind of a little bit of an asshole, like a little bit of a dick and in a jest.
Short-sighted, narrow-minded,
absolutely
illogical, over-emotional psycho is how I am with sports. And specifically football, but yeah.
And I really think we hit on something there where it made sense, where I was like, I think we did fuck up by having all the fans just intermingle.
Yeah.
I think we hit on something there because
the Eagles
we used
fans,
to have it separately. Like one team's fans were over here, the other team's fans were over here. I think we really hit on something psychological there that like was a smarter
Eagles
idea.
fans are crazy. I got a couple friends that are part of like travel groups where like they take over a plane, like they charter a fucking Boeing 747, like a big plane, and fly people by the hundreds, the thousands, down to other people's stadiums. Like my friend went to.
We're invading.
So like I've been to a couple of away games and it was 50-50. It was like half Eagles
I've heard
fans.
that. We know that. We show up.
It's nuts.
It's funny sometimes the disparity between states where it's like, yes, it's okay. The red dot's on this time.
What's that?
It's like, it's okay. The red dot's on this time.
Are we
recording. The red dot is on. We're fine.
Go check.
I thought it turned off on its own. It's on. I can see it right here. There's a red dot in the bottom right corner, baby.
Well, why
that work? Use your big words. Go ahead.
Didn't you know
genuinely
the absence of a red dot? Before?
It is honestly. I did go into. I got this mode and I clicked the button and sat down and started to talk to a good friend and realized far too into it that we were not recording.
Has this been so slapdash since Adam left, or is it?
It's been tighter. It's been I've been able. No, it's definitely been. No, Adam, as he would always say, he's like, dude, I don't do any of the tech stuff. I don't do. Adam, not a moment.
Neil,
Adam was the face, and as he would say, the money.
How many times do I call you? Because I go, how do I make this website work?
I am that guy for
100%.
a couple of people in my life.
Yeah.
Albert Davis, not putting you on blast, baby, but I'm just saying. And I'm happy to help.
See, the thing with me and Albert Davis, thank you. We're really strong comedians, very good looking, both of us.
Both of us equally.
Yeah, there's no need to list in no particular order. We're just not tech savvy fellas, and we're both on the wrong side of 40. So we really need.
I don't really give. I mean, I gotta be honest. I think you're weak for saying that. Excuse me. Just gleated all over the place. I think you're weak for saying that.
I'm weak. Why is that?
Old people should not be allowed at this point to talk about tech in a way. Like, we've been living with it, dude. It's like, get good with it. I'm not saying you got to be a pro.
I'm not. Yeah. But like, if you took an average 20-year-old,
sure, they're native. Yeah,
yeah. I'm like an advanced 40-year-old.
Yeah.
But that's still inferior to an average run-of-the-mill 20-year-old.
And when I say that,
and also Apple updated the iOS last week, and I'm still not comfortable yet. Takes me a while. That's what happens. I can get used to it.
I agree. That's the funny part is here. When I say that, like, it's not an excuse. If you're older, like, you got to be in your 80s right now, and I will then concede that is like, it's not my mom's problem. Like, she did. It's too fast, too soon. But
my mother's 67. She is so far ahead of the curve for 67-year-olds.
Yeah.
She's the tech guru in her circle of friends.
Yeah. You tell her this, she's like, you're not using Google.
But she's like a special needs 8-year-old. Like, that's, okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, for a 67-year-old, she's aces.
She's crushing.
She's Steve Jobs. But like, based on her curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's horrendous with a phone.
Yeah, what's your curve?
67-year-old woman?
You got a curve? You got a nice little curve?
No.
Is it straight on?
Is
it straight on for you?
You need serious length to worry about curves.
Oh, all right. No, I understand. I shouldn't have asked about your curve. I apologize.
It's right there.
I was asking about the gym you go to. Curves?
Correct. Yeah. It's right next to the Lane Bryant.
I love you.
Super sales.
But to get into it, I would agree.
If you could afford their spring collection, you wouldn't be talking so much shit.
Oh, nice. There it is. Poor as all get out. He's not wrong. Could not pay my way out of a paper bag right now.
But you got credit.
I do have credit. And I'm trying to preserve as much of it as I can. But
I had to take a loan out of my 401k for the first time in December.
Yeah. My
sewer pipe broke. You know how fucking expensive a sewer pipe is?
Oh, no, you're fucked. That's like 10 grand or something.
15.
15. It's fucking. It shouldn't be allowed that it's that much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there should be some type of protection. It's like, guys, I didn't crack the pipe myself. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like a judge handed that down.
Yeah, it's fucking criminal. It should have been a $5,000 job, but it's a $15,000 job because they had to open the street up.
Yep.
And there's permits and all this shit. That's wild.
Yeah, that's insane.
Anyway,
yeah. But you and I are
I'm paying myself back as we speak.
You and I are in the same, having to take money down from the 401k. I also think about it like, sometimes, as an adult, you can be like, well, I've worked for 10 years. I got it there. It's sitting there. Yes, it's meant to be for my retirement. Can I be honest, though? We ain't retired.
Yeah.
You and I, our best luck is that we get to keep going into just like, just doing our comedy thing. And we've worked as much as we could, and then we can retire from like one job.
Yeah. I would like
majority of us in this. Yeah. Would you agree that like the majority of people right now, given the state of everything, that are below, say 55, 45?
Yeah.
We're not retiring, right? Unless you got it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's, they keep pushing, who knows with Social Security and like, It's
he's gonna gut all that.
That's why, like, we talked about it earlier in the tapes that will never be heard by your followers.
I'm sorry.
Pursuing something like stand-up comedy, it's a really hard thing to do. I mean, there might be 2,500 people in the country and the world that do it professionally, like over $100,000 a year. It's like, right? It's like, I just got to be in the top 2,500. Like, if I could pay my I bought a small house before the market went fucking bananas.
Yeah.
If I could pay that mortgage,
like
I don't need. By design, I don't need.
Yeah. And I think that's what comes down to. It's like, I feel like, yeah, not to like even talk comedy, but like I did come with this first, just being like, I want to be a good writer. And then second, it's like, it is a business. I mean, like if you're not getting into this with a business mindset, obviously you getting funny is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
Like you are just a business unto yourself now.
100%. You're a 1099 employee to yourself.
Yeah. A great piece of advice. And being a headliner is basically your job security at the end of the day. Like great piece of advice, like Brent Ernst, I think said like here, I think he got the advice from like Dom Herrera, or he had heard it, but like he was just like, at the end of the day, you know, we can all pass around jokes and kind of try to work together as a group. But at the end of the day, it's a solo sport. Like you will only have yourself. You said it, unfortunately, on the Lost Tapes, where it's like, you know, the first time a comic gets up, you know, oh my God, like ever, you know, they're like, oh, the crowd's, oh my gosh, it's his first time. He's probably nervous, you know, whatever it is, you know, they're nervous. And then, you know, the 8th time, you know, kind of on your own now. And the 1,000th time you're on stage, you're definitely on your own.
100%.
And it's kind of the point where it is, you have to be mentally prepared for that. It is a business, and you should kind of treat it that way in a way.
There's a level of preparation and like, business sense that you have to approach it with.
Oh, sure.
Not the creative part like that.
No, but I to a degree, I think I would, honestly, and not to a way of writing it, like, but to a degree of like, to a certain point, you will eventually be paying yourself, your day job, your hours logged will be writing. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're on a tax form, it would be like, yeah, I worked 40 hours that week, you know, 8 hours, you know, this day was writing, and then this, I had to book this, and that, you know, it becomes that eventually. Yeah. So it's actually a really good idea to go into. I feel like there's some people I see in the scene that I learned that from. Yeah. Like, you know, that business aspect of it from.
100%. And there's so many things that are not.
And they're disappointed in me. I'm not
There's
doing
so many things that are not intuitive to me, like Cap Cut and Final Cut.
Oh, sure.
And like stuff like that. But like I've taught myself, like if you look, made a wonderful reel.
You sent it to me. It was
Drop
great.
it next week.
I love it.
2 bees making love. Oh. It was right next to my head.
It was perfect.
And I heard buzzing. And
I wouldn't have guessed the sound, and shit like that is stuff where I 100% will, like, I want to just make on the side. Like if I had my financial stuff where it needed to be right now, some of the like side projects and stuff. Yeah. Cause some of it's just fun. You keep looking. I know. I'm also panicked about it too. We're just looking at the recording. We're like, is it fucking happening? He's got it. It's happening. We're doing it.
Well, if we're not going to talk a lot about comedy, I don't know a lot of things.
No. I mean, hey, baby, I just need you to sit back and relax. You're already doing it. You're already, you know, your Eagles call would be down. I love the pursuit of that. It makes sense. I think your second rule that you had to make up, I think you said, did you answer that directly?
I think I did. I only gave you 2 rules.
You only gave me 2. Well, the second...
the third rule is going to be there are no rules.
Of course.
Fucking chaos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fucking dork. He's just like, fucking, man, wants rules.
Wear whatever you want.
Yeah,
you can't wear blue.
Can't wear blue.
That's what it was.
That was it was.
And then the third rule, all right, wear blue if you want to.
You know, for a call, it's like he's manic as shit, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's going well for us. I got you. What's it?
I don't care. Like even like when people are like I make jokes and shit. Like my cousin, like, oh, you can't come in. You gotta. All my like little nieces and my little cousins, they go, Uncle Josh said, no, you can't come in with cowboy boots because my one little cousin has cowboy boots. She's adorable little 6-year-old girl. Yeah. And she goes, Uncle Josh said I can't wear these next time, or I'm not allowed to watch the Eagles game. Right. So she tells me that every time she's watched an Eagles game since, and like, yeah, and all that. Kid, I'm not gonna make you fucking sit outside. I'm just razzing, you know.
We talked about that. You might as well say it again. Yeah, I told you, my uncle, I had a starter jacket. It was Cowboys. I apologize.
Yeah.
I was fucking probably 6 or whatever. And he made me hanging outside. He was like, you're not bringing, and I thought he was kidding.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I genuinely, like, people started laughing and stuff. And he was like, no, hang it on the door outside. Like, it's winter. I know it's winter time. You have it on. I do not care.
Yeah.
You brought it to my house. You do not walk in here. This is an Eagles house.
Yeah.
You do not walk in here with that. I was like, all right.
Propaganda into my home. Yeah.
Yeah. You said
that's true. No one's ever worn a Cowboys jersey into my home. I don't think I'll.
It would be weird. It would be weird if they. I feel like I'm not even. You know, like I'm down for the Eagles, like 100%. If I had to say, like that would be my team. Obviously, I don't watch any other.
I don't even think it has to be like.
But if they walked in here, I'd be like, you know, a little bit.
It's a cultural thing. It's a geography thing. Like I'm not a big hockey fan, but like I'll fucking I'll get loud and proud at a Flyers game.
Yeah, you doing Flyers or Devils?
Flyers for sure.
Okay.
I'm just you can't.
I kind of rep New Jersey a little bit. We don't have a ton. You know, the Giants don't even claim them as they play. You know, the thing.
Good, because I don't claim them. Fuck them.
After them, they're, hey, Adam, I know you can feel your ears tingling right now because you can sense it, but because he's a Giants fan. But it's one of those things. But yeah, I
drive by that stadium a lot, and every time, like a child, I fucking go like this as I drive.
You give him the fucking finger. Nice.
I've had clients in the car. I don't give a fuck.
You don't care?
No, this is what I have to do.
You're passionate. Yeah, I think it is interesting that way. Okay, so no blue. Okay. No blue. It's fair.
Giants blue. No
and then
Cowboys
also if
blue.
you want to wear blue.
And then if you gotta wear blue.
Also, if you gotta wear blue, maybe
It's
blue.
fine.
No blue with stars at least. I think you gotta have some.
Yeah.
You have a backbone somewhere.
Yeah. Unless you're like a real cowboy.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. I think they're dead, but
No.
what do you think your job would have been back in the day? Before 1920s.
So I'm the
What do you think
first
you would have done?
Ryan. So like we've traced our family history back generations, couple hundred years, in some cases. They're all carpenters and shipbuilders.
Oh, okay. I see that.
So like I would have had to have done that, but I'm not good
You got the
at
low eyes and the nose for it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think if you look like you can work
Carpentry is a
outside.
skilled labor position. Yeah, I definitely have the
That's what I'm
look
saying.
of, but I'm
I
I'm
can
a
see
yuppie.
you. The hands are good. I can see the hands. They're dainty because you didn't go that route.
No.
Like,
I got rough hands though.
They would be, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I can
me.
see that in your lineage.
100%. You
Definitely
can't
see
get that out. Yeah.
And the eyes are low because you're in the sun all day.
My father used to say, I'm so glad you're smart like your mom because you're not a carpenter.
Was your dad a carpenter?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Both my grandfathers
My
were
dad was too.
carpenters. I think all of my great grandparents were carpenters.
Damn.
Great grandfathers.
Yeah, my dad was. I don't know. Yeah, he definitely wanted to be more of a carpenter. I think he took the job at like the. He just worked at like a lumber yard, but like he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I saw him have plans for like being almost more architectural stuff,
Okay.
but he couldn't make it happen.
If my father would have been 66, if he was around, he would totally be. Remember, like back in the day, they don't have them a lot anymore. It's all young kids at Home Depot, but they'd have like the old veteran there.
You think it's young kids at Home Depot? I feel like my Home Depot is all old bros.
That's what we need. That's what
bros,
Home
old
Depot needs
ladies.
because you could go in, you're like,
Yeah.
I need this screw, and like, oh, it looks like a number 4.
Yeah, I don't want
Blah,
a
blah.
20-something working at a Home Depot.
They just in my
Cash
Home
register.
Depot by my house, it's all young kids, and they all just look at the app.
I don't like that.
Like, I
at
could have
all.
done. No, I want the old guy. Like I feel like
Yeah.
my old man would have been that guy.
Yeah, I need an old dude. You got
would
it. Yeah.
break you down why you want,
Like he comes up
oak
to you.
instead of whatever.
He comes up to you and he sees you're fucking up like already in the store. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What carpentry work? Okay. You don't need that. You don't need that. Like, so, get away. You don't need that. That's a ridiculous thing that you're buying. Just fucking cut it this way. Like, I need that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's helpful. And he's
100%.
also like, there's not too many of us doing carpentry regularly. So, yeah.
I would like to get into woodworking more. I was always
done a little.
embarrassed because I was so bad at it. It's like shop and stuff in school. And then
Oh, you had
started
shop?
tinkering
That's
around.
dope.
And I wasn't very good at it. But like anything else, you're not good at it at the beginning. But like again, like I came from fucking the old country, came over as carpenters, and you're like, dude, this is in my blood. I should be able to like do this. And I didn't.
It's
couldn't.
tough just because it didn't come. I think maybe is it got something to do with the expectation of the fact that you've heard your family is carpentry, so you assume that you're going to take to it like a duck in water. But really, what you're not, what they
Yeah.
didn't say was like, yeah, they also learned. They sat next to your father. Your father sat next to your grandfather from the time he was
Correct.
5 years old, and saw everything he did. And there's a certain thing there where like nowadays it's kids are just on their phones. So
100%,
there's
yeah,
other
yeah.
distractions.
There's a learning curve, and you have to. I mean, and I think you have to really take an interest in something to get good at it, like really good at it, because you have to be bad at it for a while.
The Colt wouldn't have a job. I'm surprised you, given this knowledge, your Colt has to have a job. Your Colt has to have something that you guys do. You wouldn't go into carpentry as a Colt. This is a group. You
we
guys
sell prepaid cell phone cards, and if you get 3 people to buy a card, we'll give you a cut, and then you get 3 people.
I love this. That's a good way to go about it.
Do people use calling cards anymore?
Like,
I just watched an episode of
MLM.
The Sopranos where they were doing a credit or calling card scheme. So I think it was just fresh on the brain because I don't think people know what a calling card is.
No, probably not anymore. No.
Yeah.
They're probably still around though, because international.
I feel
shit.
old and I talk old. This is probably why I feel old.
Oh, dude, I'm younger than you, and I think the reason why a lot of the time I'm okay with a lot of more mature people is, or older people in general, is just like, I grew up around older folks. Like everybody in my family was 30s and above by the time I came around. It wasn't like
I'm 40 now. I just realized I've always had a thing for like older women. It's all relative. Like from 40 dating a 48-year-old, 49-year-old.
Sure.
But when I was like 22, it's like, all right, 33.
What's the biggest disparity? What's the biggest disparity you've had?
12 years, 13 years.
Well,
There's a comic out in Central PA. His name's Sean. Sweetheart of a fella. 30-year age gap. He's like 31.
That'll do it.
Or 29 or something.
She's got to be bad.
She is I met her a couple of times. Beautiful woman. Like, gorgeous woman.
That's what happens when you
I'd have to imagine like her 25 was like
punching above your weight. Well, she has the ability to do so.
Yeah, I get hot women that are older than me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're a steady.
All these beautiful geriatrics that I've made love to would have never done that in our 20s if we were like equal age.
No,
I get that. They know
they're coming down to your level. You're right.
Or I'm rising to theirs. I think we're meeting somewhere. I think I'm on the upswing.
You're on the up. They're on the down.
I don't want to say they're on the downswing. I won't go there. I'm not going to say that.
But we know that if they, God forbid, did go down, fall, they'd be in trouble.
Also, I think I'm going to, we'll probably die at the same age. I need to be with somebody 15 years.
We talked about this a little bit in the Forgotten Tape, but because you said your dad died young. You're coming up on the age. He died at 43.
Yeah.
You're 41.
And how old was your dad?
I think my dad was in his late 50s.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, I think when he died, maybe early 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. Although, like I said, like when we talked about it, was all the guys in my family, like my uncle passed, like unfortunately. But again, a lot of it is like, I don't want to say self-induced, but when enough women in the family are like, you got to stop eating like that. You know what I mean? I took note of that. And I was always a bigger kid anyway. But like,
you were a fat kid. When did you get not fat?
I know everyone doesn't like this about it. It's not good. If you were a big person and you got kind of, skinnier, kind of in an appropriate time, I feel like you get no credit for it, which is fine.
Was
I
it
understand.
puberty? I feel like that's like
it was my doing probably almost into college. Where by then I had lost a decent amount of. I'm still blooming. I don't even think I budded yet. Like it's genuinely like, I think I have that in my notes now. It's just like, you have to constantly remind yourself that you're like newly hot, which is not a place that I'm at all used to being. And I will say, to my detriment, if people meet me, a lot of times we already have that normal comic thing, the normal, like, I ain't shit. I should say, a healthy, fine view to understand yourself, but also don't beat the shit out of yourself, right? Like it's
100%.
Then there's people that are just like, I'm God's gift to the comedy scene. And I'm like, you're mid at best, but there's that aspect. But like, I have that. And
I never get upset at that. And here's why. Any energy you're going to dedicate to doing that, like I'm already going to outwork you with the things that matter. Yeah. Not in that level, not in that arena. But the things that are going to make me better at this, I'm already going to outwork you. And if you're going to spend all that time and energy doing that, I'm going to, I'm not worried about you.
Yeah. I typically don't.
God bless. Like, I'm not wishing you any ill will. Yeah. I'm not going to root for you. Like, it's real. I don't want to ever root for somebody to fail because I know they care. I know they give a shit or whatever. But I'm not going to give people enough rope to hang themselves.
It was the Deion Sanders, right? Like the kid who came in and had the attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
Right. Like
if you can't acknowledge that I need this more than this needs me.
Right.
And I think you can say that from me.
That's wild.
To as much of how he made it a better space, like a better place, George Carlin, like comedy would have continued if George Carlin never existed,
Right.
it would have been not nearly as cool and as great, but it would have kept going.
Yeah, you're informing an art form. You're not the antithesis of the art
Yeah.
form. That's such a fucking insane place to be. Even for the coolest people.
And I don't think you can ever be anywhere close to Carlin's level if you don't understand.
Producer and friend Neil Wood here. Brief commercial break. Hey, how you doing? This is Neil Wood, one of the co-owners of Drop 10 Media Network and who helps run Biggest Little Comedy. You can check out all the other stuff we do at drop10.com. We've got podcasts, live comedy shows, and so much more. Go over there, support your favorite podcasts, follow them, subscribe. We appreciate it. Again, we're 100% DIY, just a bunch of creatives trying to make it in this, and give us some feedback. We always enjoy a little feedback. Thanks. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's weird to even compare. It would be. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like I said, it's like this is a solo thing. It's like you try to be the best you can be.
yeah.
And then you look around you, and for some people, you might eventually, if you succeed and gain following, some people will be like, "That's my favorite comic of all time." I don't even know, and that's
well, and I think that's partly why Carlin is my favorite comic, probably of all time.
Yeah,
is that there's 5 different iterations of George Carlin.
true.
He had 5 careers.
Yeah.
That just went back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, that's true. He spanned a couple of different versions of himself, and
I mean, he was one of the best comedians in 5 different decades of stand-up comedy.
I watched him up until the end. Yeah, watched him. I'd always catch everything that he was doing. I would say it got a little, and I think rightfully so. He was getting frustrated with just where the country was going. I think towards the end, it wasn't as funny as much as like a cautionary
I go back
tale.
because that's how my mom was a big Carlin fan, so I just remember Carlin being on.
Yeah.
His albums from the 70s and shit like that. But I was really introduced to Carlin. Like the first new special I saw of Carlin's, it was Old Angry Carlin.
Right.
So it's kind of my favorite Carlin. I know it's not regarded as the best Carlin or whatever, at his peak, but I fucking like it. I just recently watched his last special. He filmed that months before he died. It wasn't, he does not look well. He looks sick and old and ready, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great. He can't, that wordplay that he does, that jazz almost
it's
very deliberate, but freestyle-esque the way he's doing. He was still doing it, but it wasn't, he's an old man at that point, but that anger, I think, was fucking hilarious.
No, needed. I think it's huge. It's what made him was, I think, the anger and being able to tackle the problems in a way that wasn't pointed. It was, but it wasn't, right? It was he was talking about the shit that needed to talk about politics and environment, stuff that involves directly the crowd in front of him, but doing it in a way.
And if you took one of his specials, those angry era Carlin specials, if you take one of those specials and you watch bit by bit, you'd be like, oh, this is really progressive. This is a really progressive way of looking at that. Mm-hmm. And then the next bit, by today's standards, not then, by today's standards, you're like, this guy's a fucking libertarian. Yeah. Or this guy's a MAGA fanatic or whatever. This guy's too conservative. But it's all funny. I've shown that golf bit to people. He's got this bit on golf. It's one of my favorite bits of all time. People that love to play golf. And when they're kind of yuppie and rich kitty and they're just being cunty, I'll send it to them. Just fucking, why don't you golf and blah, blah, blah. And I'll send them that bit. And it's so good.
Yes.
And it's,
I think
word for word still poignant today.
Carlin changed the way I thought. A couple of different comics. I think. Louis obviously to an extent.
Louis. If there's one comic that I could.
Louis genuinely. I.
You know who Louis' role model was, right?
Carlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. Yeah. In terms of trying to tackle stuff, and again, he'll say, I've heard him say it in interviews. He's like, I was so unfunny for so long. He was like, I did 10 years of straight unfunniness.
His first, 3 of my favorite comedy specials of any comic ever are Louis. 3 of my maybe top.
Yeah, I have
5,
everything. I have everything he's ever done.
And I think his last 2 specials were his best 2 specials. As much I was already a super fan at that point, but he. Fuck, I forgot what was I going to say?
Sorry, I was going to say, I was going to keep naming it because it's I love it. Louis, oh my God, now I'm fucking blank. We can't both blank. Jesus Christ. Tall guy. Oh, The Great Depression. That's
Gary Goldman.
Gary Goldman.
One of my favorites.
One of my favorites. Maria Bamford, I think, is just and I also am one of those people. I'm a comedy nerd. So one thing is why it's tough to be like, we don't want to talk about comedy. But at the same time, because I am a fucking comedy nerd, it's the one thing I'm nerdy about.
I think we were talking about Dana Gould earlier.
Dana Gould's one of my favorite comics of all time.
I think you not introduced me to him, but sent me like, you have to watch this special.
You have to. It is, again, if you're coming in from a writer's perspective, yes.
A long time ago.
If you appreciate writing for comedy writing, you have to watch Dana Gould. There's just no other, like, and the Pryor, I was exposed to like Pryor and Carlin very early because that was like mom. That was like, mom and aunts and everything. They were like, you should check out, you like comedy. Okay, check out Carlin, check out that. And I was allowed to because they even saw it as
I was allowed to watch stand up very young.
You were?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
me
sure.
too. Yeah.
Like it was okay.
Which I'm very happy with because they, it's a very Catholic family, but like my grandmother, I was kind of worried, but like they were like, no, it's an art form. It's fine. Like,
I guess, I mean, I also watched a lot of like R-rated movies.
Sure.
Like my dad showed me like,
I didn't have two parents, so.
Like we did like an Oliver Stone weekend. I was like in middle school. I was like,
that'll do it.
Yo.
Yeah.
I don't think an 11-year-old's supposed to see Natural
That
Born
whole
Killers.
weekend, you just got through JFK.
Yeah.
Like it's so fucking long. It's like, you forget who's in that movie. And you're like, oh my God, that's right. Fucking you're in this? What is he doing in this movie with the fucking crazy eyebrows? You're like, was DeVito? I think that, not DeVito.
I haven't seen JFK forever, but.
JB, you forget that movie's fucking 3 hours long. That's a tough weekend. But yeah,
It wasn't like a happy-go-lucky. It wasn't like a,
feels like a dad sitting
We did
down,
like
you watch this, this. It'll be what you need to be. It'll make you tough.
You'll be a man at the end of this weekend, boy.
All right, Papa. Back and to the left. Like you're like, all right, man. All right, enough.
Can we watch Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, really. Adam Sandler's in there a little bit. I would say not like one of not
in the movie JFK. I don't think.
Oh, he's in there. I think he's in there. I think he was the umbrella
He's the
guy.
shooter.
I thought he was Grassy Knoll, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
People don't want to know. Like he's just holding an umbrella, just doing that shit. Fucking insane. Okay, so we got your call nailed down. Great. I don't know, man. We talked about death and dying and stuff, and I feel like I want to bring a little bit of
I
that
think
back.
it's fun that you have a podcast filmed here by two very funny folks. And it's called I'm Dying Up Here.
Yes.
And I'm currently rereading a book entitled I'm Dying Up Here.
Yeah, a comedy book. Yes.
Sorry, a book
That's nothing
about
wrong
the
with
Comedy Store.
About
Dude, that's where Showcase shows started at? Was the Comedy Store in the 70s?
Oh, that makes sense. That makes
Because
sense.
a lot of acts back then were headliners in Vegas. And it's like a 5 or 6 hour drive.
Right.
So they didn't want to book a weekend. They're like, I don't want to take, because I get so much more money. Like, I'll get $5,000 to play here this weekend, but I'll make 5 times that if go to Vegas. If we start poaching my fans from Vegas to come out here, they're not. My ticket sales will go down. They won't pay. Like all the old timey comics and stuff.
Damn.
So then they had the idea. Well, what if we do like a showcase show? Everybody just does 15 or 20 minutes, and then we'll have it'll be Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, J.J. Walker.
Just an onslaught of fucking
Yeah, I mean, if you look
killers.
back, you're like, fuck, man, it's Hall of Fame class
Yeah.
of comics. But
Yeah, that stuff blows my mind. If you watch like old comedy docs and stuff like that, like in the 80s, there's one on it for Boston. Boston in the 80s, the comedy scene. Can't remember the name of it. I apologize, but that one is crazy. In terms
was the
of
one
how it shook
about
out.
Barry Crimmins?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Eventually crescendoing with Stephen Wright's appearance on late night.
Yeah.
Basically, because there's a little guff, but not guff. Like they didn't think about it, but like he was just one of the comics to come out of Boston, and kind of when he popped, it was an interesting phenomenon that like he popped so hard that it like kind of fucked up the comedy. It was kind of like an end of an era, in a way, because he became known for it, and then like everyone else in the scene was like, "We're also funny. We've been crushing it and crushing and crushing it, and we're trying to get invitations."
Well, and he's such a unique act.
Yeah.
I love Stephen Wright. He's
Then
one of
people
the-
started to copy him. That was like the issue.
and nobody's going to do it
Yeah, it's always going to be derivative.
nearly as well as him.
Yeah, no.
Like there's one Mitch Hedberg of our generation of comics, like, and not just a one line.
Who's informed by Wright?
100%. Yeah. With his
his own thing.
brain
It's
writing the joke, like
Fine,
his
yeah.
personality in the joke.
find your niche.
Yeah.
Man, see, I still haven't found mine. I have no
I get
idea.
it.
That's why I can't start a cult.
I don't know who the fuck I am.
Yeah, I know. Hey, people don't like it. I feel like, do you find that other human beings hate it if you don't exactly know who you are? I would love to know who I am. I think I'm finding it now. I have been doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of deep thought, and I will say, I think I'm honing it in on like, oh yeah, that's how you think, and that's who it is. And
I
that's
mean, I have an
the way it is.
idea of my worldly point of view, but like if
We all
you
do.
lined up 100 people that know me,
Right.
you might get, and so tell me about Josh Ryan. You're going to get 100 different answers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's things that are part, I guess, part of my identity. Like, I am a huge Eagles fan. It's a lot of my weekends revolve around it. You know, it's tied into family and
A lot of
community.
holes in the wall, I feel like, also are tied into it.
Yeah, just get angry. A younger me.
Make the catch. Fucking Jesus Christ. Hit you in the fucking hands.
Just
Like,
replaying it.
how many
you
times
know.
I've heard that?
Stand up. I'm like I like my community. I like
Mm-hmm.
you know, a lot of the people in it. It is your own thing. You're kind of an army of one, but there is a sense of community, and like I think water seeks its own level. So you gravitate towards people that are like-minded and treat it the same way you do, and things like that. And I mean, I like that. Dude, I was just thinking about.
But hold on, Andrew, do you think people are? Have you met someone who, or become conscious of the fact that like just because you don't know who you are, you're seen like, you know, quote unquote who you are, or do you feel any certain way towards people who like know who they are? You know, there's just those people, not feel a certain way, but do you?
So,
you know,
I
lesser than in a way. I've definitely felt that. Let me put an I statement on that. I have felt that and been all of people who just like know themselves.
So
Man, that's good
my
for
one
you.
cousin, who I love very much, I think is probably thinks the most like me in our family, and we handle depression. Couldn't be more opposite. She is everything's so great, and oh my God, this is so awesome, and this is so wonderful, and I'm very much like
That's not depression.
I'll.
Go ahead.
She's it's and I'm more of a I'll find the good and then make it bad. Like I'll poke fun at, you know, like it in a funny way and in a, you know, not like a Eeyore type of way. But we're both like, she doesn't feel, if I had to guess, I don't think she feels enough. And like I don't either. But like the way we handle is very different. So like I try to remember that when I come across somebody who's, you know, arrogant or whatever, it's like, oh, you feel the way I feel.
Right.
You're having the same conversation with yourself when you're brushing your teeth in the morning as I am. You just handle it a lot different. And it's a lot more easier to digest when it comes from a place of humility. Somebody's humble with it and they're gracious and things like that. Like gratitude goes a long way, I feel. But no, I think the person that's like, oh, this is who I am and these are my titles and whatever it is, parent, VP at your company or whatever. Like I've had enough people like at work like, oh, you know, I'm really proud to be the youngest, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, who gives a fuck? Like, you know, I was 2009 Rutgers Senior of the Year. I was. I was voted on by the faculty.
I didn't know we had royalty here.
Outstanding business
faculty.
leader of the year. And I still think about killing myself a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Where
mean?
you are now.
And think
my
about
kill
like
room.
think about like a great opportunity that happened, or you get a call and they go, "Hey, would you do this?" You're like, "I can't believe I get this opportunity." Or I just had a great set. Or somebody says something really nice to you after a show. They're like, "You made our night. I was having a really rough week, and like that joke about this thing that my family's dealing with, Alzheimer's or depression or whatever, and you found a way to make it funny, and I feel better about it." And there's just a look of like I made somebody happy.
Yeah.
It's the greatest feeling in the world.
I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds wonderful.
It's happened twice in 12 years. But that is gone. By the time I wake up the next morning, it's gone. It's fate. It's a crack high. It's this tremendous dopamine hit, and then it's gone. And I feel, you know what I mean? Like I think more people are dealing with that feeling than they let on.
Yeah.
And not only do I not mask the things, my flaws, I exaggerate them and then tell them publicly and then post dumb fucking clips online. So like I clearly handle it different than somebody who's gonna
your cousin.
Yeah, and like I don't think there's a right or wrong way. At the end of the day, like if you already know who you are, like at 20 I knew who I was.
You are trying to change your behavior. I think that's the difference is what I'm saying. Like
Try to be a better version of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Somebody who knows who they are, frequently I'll find that they also lock into one certain thing and will not change, or even despite being wrong, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is like a lot of times it's like, yes, it's important to have, I think what I'm nailing down is like a confidence in your actions and words to a certain extent. We all should, of course,
Yeah.
But people who are locked in and think they're right in a way just because that's who I am. It's people that I've talked to where you're just like, well, that's who I am. You're in that discussion where they're upset. Like I'm like, well, shouldn't you not be like this? Or
well,
like,
they're
treat someone
indignant
like
and
that?
self-entitled, and they're self-involved, and they're
True.
justifying their behavior so they don't have to look at themselves. Like I'm okay with
You're right. I guess it does get couched in that sometimes. Where it's not really.
You walk around all day beating yourself up. You don't give a fuck. Yeah, of course. Every interaction I have, even if it's a pleasant one,
Right.
I will drive home from here and be like, "The fuck? What does he think? Like whatever. Like, how many people are going to comment on my man tits out of all the people that are whatever?" And like at the end of the day, almost none of that matters. Like,
no.
and anybody who confidently tells you, as an adult, like when I was 19, I knew everything. Right. And then, at 30, I go, I don't fucking know anything. Yeah. And now at 40, I go, I know a couple things.
Yeah, you got a couple things.
You know what I mean? Like,
you narrowed down.
I look back at things that have happened in my life. I'll talk to my mom about it all the time. She's 67 now, and I'll be like, when that happened, you were younger than I am today.
Right.
And I just assumed you knew what you were doing because you were an adult and I was a child. And she goes, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do as the adult.
Yeah.
But now you're an adult and you realize I had no fucking idea what I was doing the best I could. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's all I can do.
Yeah,
and it's not even when it's not very good, and it's often not very good.
Yeah. That's all of us are doing. I think. I think that's the biggest misconception is that anyone's got to figure it out.
Do you find because you were like, well, this is just how I am? Like, do you have people like that in your life, like where you gotta?
That's some saucy. I've had just like because I'm if I'm in a mood, or like at a party, when anyone's like just unmoving in the way that they're thinking at all, like no introspection.
Yeah.
Of how they're making other people feel. I found now, this is how I have found myself in a way of being like, Neil, you just care too much. And I hate to say that as like I know that's like a very much an shitty interview answer, but I genuinely mean, I'm
you have
trying,
the job.
Yeah. I'm trying to curb that. Like, because I don't know how else to say it of like, I shouldn't care this much about how I'm interacting on a day-to-day basis with other people in a large majority of my movements, like a large majority of how I move, because we're just animals banging into each other. It doesn't.
Well, I think
really matter.
some people, because it's not a catch-all, like a one-size-fits-all. Some people need to look at themselves and go, oh, I should really just observe my behavior. I'm kind of being a dick, and I need to like be more cognizant of that.
I don't think
where I think you might have to go the other way, where you're like, I think of something, I can't stop. Like, you go, all right, like, let it go. Like, it's not as important as you're making it. Like, it's self-indulgent, just differently than how that other person's self-indulgent. It's self-indulgent for me to think that this throwaway line I said is going to fucking matter to you at all.
Right.
And it's going to matter to you tomorrow when you wake up. But I can't stop thinking about it. And you're like, all right, you're not that important. What you said was not that important. Yes. It wasn't that damning. I mean, I didn't, do you know what I mean? Go like on a racist tirade or whatever. Like,
yeah.
On the air.
Yeah, on the air. No.
Thank God those.
You came in hot. Like this fucking kid on a scooter.
Stop.
What?
Because he was. I was mad because he was an inconsiderate child.
A fucking writer over here. I'm like, dude, easy.
I can't even.
It's pretty rough. But, on this podcast, much like our government, we just let it slide. It's kind of our thing.
I almost hit the same. What he's referring to is also he was of Latin descent. Not okay. So not that it matters, but I have to prove this guy wrong. I almost hit a child.
You would have probably been deported anyway. You fucking piece of shit.
I almost hit a child on an electric scooter.
We've all done it
twice. The same child twice in 20 seconds.
First time was an accident. Second time you meant it.
Second time, I was wishing he would.
Yep. Having somebody pop off.
I wasn't moving for the second one. I was parked.
Yeah, you're just moving like I'm not.
And I was like,
trying
oh, you're going to fuck with me now, kid?
He's zooming around the car.
Yeah.
He's like, "Woo."
Skidded out like right behind my
Hey,
bumper.
mister. Hey, mister, what you doing? What you doing? He's just zipping around. You're like, dude, kid. Oh, dude, I had a great moment. Oh, man. Let me know if this happens to you. A wave of emotion. If you have kids, you might not get it as much. But if you don't have kids, the wave of fucking good feelings this brought me. I was walking the dog at a little close-in park. I mean, it's a closed-in area that I will say that if there's people in it, I won't let the dog off the leash. I just kind of walk him and go because I know it's not technically for it, and it's like attached to to the back of a school. So
You're just in somebody's backyard, it sounds like, that has a double lot.
It's attached to a school where the kids are. No, it's attached to a school, so but they largely don't use it like every day, so it's empty, whatever, right? So I'm there. It's luckily I don't have a distinct job, so it's like 2:00 or lunch or whatever. Walk the dog, let the dog off, and then I start doing like a little workout. Right, start doing some stuff. I should not have popped off my shirt. That was the mistake. But it was hot.
Wait. Hold on. Let me just make sure I understand everything.
Please do.
So it's middle of the day. You're a man in his 30s by himself.
Correct.
Exercising at a school without your shirt.
Now that you say it that way,
Okay.
I don't see a problem.
There's no part of your radar that goes, oh, this is...
So to do this, there is a school.
I have a story I want to tell you.
Yeah, there's a fenced-in area of the school.
Okay.
Attached to that is just a park that I don't even know if they let there's no kids in the grass area.
Okay.
They're
All
just,
right.
the kids are in the school play.
When they put restrictions, it's not on school property.
I don't see a problem with
It's
it.
500 feet
You know
from
what I
the
mean? I
school.
got a bag full of candy. I'm shirtless. What's the issue? Like it's
Those big powdery nipples.
I got my big nips out. They're flowing. I've got take a piece tattooed over each one. And
Looking like 2 oatmeal cookies.
oh god, they're so good. Just like pink
I'll never be
dinner
able to
plates.
eat oatmeal cookies again after that.
Are they big today? I don't know if they're big. Oh, no,
not
it's
even
not
that
too
big.
bad. Well, no,
I mean, they're my
they're
size,
a little,
but-
they're a little cold. Oh, when they're puffy puff, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty. Because what happens is the tissue underneath. I got that hard tissue underneath. Women know about it because it's like a cause of cancer. You got that.
I've decided because I got some man boobs. If I get breast cancer, I'm taking the fucking bullet train out. I'm putting a gun in my mouth. And
Really?
blowing the.
I
devil
thought a
in
bigger
cancer.
guy, if you catch it early, would just have the great chance to get the titty meat out.
I can't. Also, as a
They just
man,
suck
I
that out.
can't do a breast reduction surgery. I can't do it. I can't
As a
do
man,
it.
why would you? You want to keep
Well, I know
those
why
balls.
I would,
You're right. No, that
but
makes
like
sense.
I couldn't look myself in the mirror.
With cancer on the table?
Oh no, if I had cancer,
Oh yeah,
I'd
that's what I'm
have to.
saying. If as a bigger guy, if you had
Cosmetically?
cancer
I would be very embarrassed
with
if I had
titty,
breast
wow,
reduction.
that's
surgery.
some old school masculine bullshit. I like
like-
that.
I don't know how having tits is more masculine, but here we are.
Well, I'm saying masculine is the fact that like you have cancer. The solution to the breast cancer
Oh, I
is for
would
them
do
to.
it. I would do it.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm saying.
I would just be. I would never tell anybody I had.
You would never. Okay.
I wouldn't wear like the bandana.
No, I mean, I don't. Yeah, you come in, your whole t-shirt is a ribbon. Like it's just is a picture of a giant cancer ribbon on it.
We'll do the airbrush T-shirts and
got
walk around
tattoos.
Cooper River. I don't want to do it.
No, and before we go, anyway, let me tell the rest of the story before we go anywhere because I can't leave it just like you're shirtless at a playground. That's not good. Anyway, the thing that gave me such joy was the fact that I knew I was in a risky situation because there are kids of a certain age who might want to make a comment. You know, they might have some things to say. And I didn't think about it at first. Like I'm all the way on the other side of the park. Like there's dog's doing his thing. I'm like, all right, it's time to go. And as I grab it, throw the shirt over the shoulder, dog, let's go. And, walk towards the gate and I start hearing. I was like, this is that moment. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. That immediately. And comics have talked about this. Adults have talked about this. There's something about a fucking 12-year-old to 16-year-old kid you'll immediately have the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Like this kid's about to be very mean to me, I think.
Yeah.
And you know what I did? The fucking best thing an adult could do. Absolutely ignored them.
Good for you.
It drives them up a fucking wall. It's like, I'm a grown ass man, dude.
Yeah.
I don't have to fucking listen to you. You're in school.
Yeah.
Go be in school. You fucking little, what were you going to say? What was
yeah.
good going to come? It's like, what are you going to tell me, a grown adult who's going to, I know I should have, I also, dude, to be honest, I earned having my shirt off.
Yeah.
I got a six pack. I don't give a fuck, but it was also fucking hot. So,
also, I think you hit a certain age, and I hit 45. I don't give a fuck how big or small I am. I'm no shirt in it. I've earned it in life.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. The old man with the shirt off thing.
Do what you want.
It has come to my full realization as a man now. It's like, that dude kind of had it right. You know, fucking shoulder hair out.
Yeah.
Blotchy, fucking something. I was like, yeah, I know. But at the same time, you earned it. Like, you know, whatever. I mean, you're at the beach. You know what I mean? I don't mean just like out and about in a supermarket or something.
Yeah.
But like, you're at the beach. Yeah, don't cover up. It's fine. Yeah, let it go. Let it rock. Get those titties tanned, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, let it go. All right. I think we have to get out of here. This is going to have to be the
so
end.
You didn't say anything to the children.
That's what the relief is. If you don't connect with this, I mean, hey, listen, maybe you don't, but like, you know, at a certain point, you're just like, what the hell is this kid yelling at? You know, I knew I acknowledged him, but in the back of my head, I went, Neil, we've been here before. You ever been made fun of by a kid in public?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful, right? It sucks.
Yeah.
Dude, the smartest thing to do is I literally pretended that they didn't exist. I was like, dude, I'm not going to honor you with anything. Because again, and I feel like this is something my uncle or like older people in my family, it's like, what are they going to say that is going to have any influence or understanding of?
100%.
They know absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And it was that wave of emotion of like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't need to respond to you.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, the fucking endorphins kicked in. I was like, oh yeah. I'm gonna genuinely, hey man, like he's still yelling, hey man, like bro, and I'm like, you got nothing on, baby.
I'm a petty fella. I did tell a 6-year-old. 6-year-old called me stupid.
Oh, nice.
And I said, I have
strong words.
I think I did say I was Rucker School of Business, outstanding senior. I have a college degree. Spell cat, you simple bitch.
Yeah.
That's not the proper response under any circumstance.
Not technically. No, you should have slapped him. That's the proper response.
But then I said, Santa's not real. And I dropped the mic and I walked away. And that was the last time I was allowed on my one cousin's house. I would love to
ruin so many kids' lives with that info.
God, dude.
I
like,
know.
If
I
you
don't.
knew what I know, you little fucking shit.
I don't. But it saddens me that they think.
Yeah, well, don't hang around the school anymore, please.
You know, I go back there now every once in a while. I put pasties on. That's what I do. I was like, you know what?
If you start referring to any of these children by name, I'm out as friends.
Okay, so we're not hanging out.
You
with them
like,
after?
Tom and Bill, we're gonna play stickball
We're not
later.
hanging out with them after this. Yeah. You're not invited then. Whatever, dude. Whatever. We're gonna
get the fuck out of this basement.
We're gonna go throw rocks at the L. So if you don't want to come for a good ass time, it's fine with me. I know I've kept you for so long. I know,
Thank
you
you
have
so
a
much.
heart out at all, buddy? Yeah, I think you might. Yeah, we got to scoot that. We got to scoot. I think. So I won't ask you anything else. But I mean, I would join your call. I will say that you have a great call. You know, if you had one, it would be a great call. I would join it. Birds, and then you get to do kind of whatever.
Can I be
you want.
the assistant manager in the cult? I don't want to be
I didn't want to give it to you, but I will say, usually a question I ask is who you think you would be in a cult, which I always love as a question. I think it really kind of does it. And you have to be honest because, you know, you can't just be like.
I definitely don't want to be the leader of a cult.
I don't want to be the leader either.
No.
I asked this question online. I was like, yo, who would you guys be? Like, you know, who are you? Are you the money man? Are you like, you know, are you just like, oh, I would just follow and try to blend in? Like,
yeah.
Would you just be trying to?
I want a leadership position, but I wouldn't want to be the head.
Yeah. I see you got a little bit maybe of like a little bit of the whisper. You know,
I'd be the consigliere to the leader of the cult.
A little bit.
I'd be his Silvio Dante.
Yeah. A little bit of like a little birds, you know, that are humming. Yeah, like that's. I see that in you.
I don't want to be the fucking.
No, I don't want to be the leader there.
I don't. Like it's these young, like the average 25-year-old wants to be famous for anything. I don't want to be. I would not decline it if it came my way.
Of course.
But it's not something that
But you and I are seeking out financial goals. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Not a need to be loved. I mean, we're trying to, I think.
I want to be valued as a stand-up.
Yeah, that's the.
I want other stand-ups that I admire.
Yes.
To say, oh, he's a funny motherfucker.
It's a difference between you are trying to go through a pursuit.
Yeah.
to add value, and then would like to add value to add, to be added.
Yeah. So I couldn't afford to buy my house today.
Right. No.
Like with the interest rates and the value of houses. If I were to buy my house today, I couldn't swing it. So I was very lucky in that regard. And I was like, oh, you have to keep this house because if you exit the real estate game, you might not ever. I finally got into it.
Yeah.
You might not ever get back. So I was like, I got to keep this house. If I could find a way to pay for that pretty little Cape Cod, I would be all right.
Yeah.
I'd be to not, to do it with stand up. I win. I beat the game, in my opinion.
I think you even mentioned something, obviously, like working comics, and then said $100,000 a year. And I was like, yeah, totally. I'd be happy. Like a working comic, I think that's the guys that aren't spotlighted a bunch are people in comedy who are working currently. They might be making 50. You know what I mean? Like it's their job. Which is all I ever want. I was like, dude, if I can make my living at doing comedy, that is literally my goal.
100%.
It's like I want to be a good enough. Obviously, I'm aspiring to be better than that. I always have the problem of like I'm setting very high expectations, but none of them have to do with fame.
Yeah, I don't. First of all, I don't like when people talk about me. Somebody texted me who listens to a podcast like, "Oh, you got a shout out on this one podcast," and I was like, "What the fuck they say?" Like, I don't like. Oh. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do it about other people a whole lot.
Yeah, I would not be interested in what anyone. Yeah, I to an extent, I say like I like criticism.
Yeah,
but talking just genuinely kind of like genuinely
just like talking shit on me. Like, I don't like that feeling.
Yeah,
I need to care less about it.
Well, I gotta talk about some shit on you with the kids after, but I mean, other than that, it's fine.
I can't wait to get Bill's take on this.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. You're giving him a very interesting name that I would have went more like DeAndre, probably based on
because you're a racist.
We'll be right back. Joshua Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, buddy. Always fun to talk to you.
Hit them with a little bit of the plugs. This way they can, if you were going to start a cult, maybe they can find you. And
I'm looking for a cult leader. Again, you got a strong number 2 already in place. At Joshua Ryan Comedy. Please check me out and like the stuff, like the videos.
Yeah. Boom.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I'll see you next time. It's been another day in the cult. Later. This episode of the Cult of Us podcast was brought to you by some Patreon shout-outs. Patreon shout-outs going out to shout out Adam, Maxwell, Patrick. Oh yeah, thanks everybody for the Patreon. You get it a day sooner, so I hope you're enjoying it already. And we'll see you next time. You want to be a good person. We know you do. And that's why we're here to guide you and help. You can go to @CultOfUsCast or Cult of Us and just subscribe, and that will fix you. This is your Pope, Neil Wood, and that will fix you. We know that you'll grow as a person and be better. Check out all the stuff at patreon.com/cultofus or droptent.com/podcasts. You want to be better. You will.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.